Press record. All right, here we go. Welcome everybody to another Friday class. It is 5:30 here in California. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are in the world, right? We have team members all across the country, in different continents, and we are so excited to meet up every Friday to encourage each other to create a healthy lifestyle with doTERRA essential oils and supplements, right? That's why we come. Hey, Julie, good to see you. So many people. So nice to be together again. We took a little time off in December, but we are back and committed to showing up every Friday. So if you are the type of person that wants to create a healthy lifestyle with simple changes, then you are in the right place. Because every Friday at 1:30 and 5:30, I host these classes so that we can come together and learn from one another. And so last week we discussed doTERRA's promotion, right? The free 5 ml bottle of white grapefruit, as well as the 10% off oil, which is cinnamon, and the annual program that doTERRA has set out for us. Instead of making New Year's resolutions, they have encouraged us to pick a word for the year or an overall theme that's going to carry us through the year, right? And so we talked about that a little bit last week, and some of us shared our word if you have already chosen it. And if you haven't, think about that, because the campaign is called The Power to Be. So what do you want the power to be in 2023, right? The sentence goes, the power to be blank in 2023. So thank you, Kimberly, for dropping your word in the chat. Purposeful. Absolutely love that. My word is more. I want to become more of an amazing, awesome person so that I can help more people. So it's kind of simple on some levels, a little bit deeper on other levels. Simplicity. Thank you, Julie, for sharing that with us. If you have chosen your word, then drop it in the chat and share it with us. If you have not, then you still have time, because we're going to revisit this next week before we start jumping into the main topic of our course. Okay? So today's topic is all about MetaPWR Assist. Oops, got the bottle backwards. MetaPWR Assist. If you love this product and you're already on it, go ahead and throw me a heart, a reaction. I love it. It has been helping me to curb my sugar cravings. I see a lot of hearts up there. Very great. Very, very good. Awesome. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Assist. We're going to mention a few specific ingredients like mulberry leaf. Have you ever heard about that before? Mulberry leaf. We're going to watch some videos from the creators of this product, and then we're going to hear some success stories. So you are in for a treat. Let me share my screen and get some of our videos started. Okay? So if you have not already heard before, doTERRA has created a MetaPWR course that is free for everyone to take. And you can find it at doTERRAtraining.com. There are many different courses that they have created. Some are free, some cost. Here's the MetaPWR education course, and it is 100% free. So as I press on it here, you will be able to see that I've already completed the course, but I actually come back and review these videos because I forget about the information, the ingredients, how to use it, right? And so as we scroll down here, you'll see the first section is just the welcome portion. The second section talks about metabolic health and biological age and how they are inseparable. So you'll learn a little bit more about what it means to be metabolically healthy by watching these videos here. The next section is all about MetaPWR Essential Oil Blend. So there's 4 products that fall into that category: the gum, the beadlets, the oil, and the soft gel. And when you watch the videos, you'll learn how to use those on a daily basis as well. Today, we're going to cover this section all about MetaPWR Assist. There's only 3 videos. You can see how long they are right there. The first talks about crushing the carbs, the basics of MetaPWR Assist. The second one is MetaPWR Assist clinical trial results with scientist Alex DeBell and Dr. Nicole Stevens. And the third one is deep dive on metabolic health crisis with Dr. Oscathorpe. So let's go ahead and watch the first video. Now, I'm not going to large screen my video here because sometimes the audio and the video don't actually match up when we do that. But I did want to point out that as you scroll down, all of what the video is, the people in the video are actually saying is available. And so if you're that type of person that needs to actually read it, not just watch it, then that is available for you in this course. Okay? So let's learn about crushing the carbs, the basic of MetaPWR Assist.
To help you manage your metabolic health naturally.
Hold on just a second. There we go.
Developed with doTERRA clinical and medical scientists to help crush the carbs, sustain your metabolic health, and put more life in your years, meet MetaPWR Assist. MetaPWR Assist is the next product in the MetaPWR product lineup. It builds upon the MetaPWR Metabolic Blend and features additional herbs and phytonutrients. Key among these is mulberry leaf extract, which has been shown to reduce carbohydrate digestion by 42% when taken with a meal. Basically, it slows down the conversion of carbohydrates to glucose, blood sugar. So instead of a giant spike and drop, you experience narrower changes or an optimal curve. Blood sugar levels are one of the most significant markers of health. These levels naturally fluctuate depending on the eating and activity patterns. Excessively high peaks and low valleys are hallmarks of metabolic problems. Over time, elevated blood sugar levels can have permanent consequences on the body. Most people enjoy a good roller coaster. The anticipation of the climb and the exhilaration of the drop create long lines and excited enthusiasts. Like blood sugar levels, a roller coaster ride once or twice a year shouldn't cause any long-term issues. However, riding a roller coaster multiple times a day, week after week, might have some consequences. A whole food diet and regular exercise are the best ways to promote healthy blood sugar regulation. But considering that under 7% of the US adult population have optimal cardiometabolic health, most of us could use a little support. MetaPWR Assist contains multiple natural compounds that are clinically shown to promote healthy metabolism. Chief among them is mulberry leaf extract, which works to slow the absorption of carbohydrates and promote healthy regulation of blood sugar levels. doTERRA conducted a small internal study of MetaPWR Assist with 15 individuals. The results confirmed MetaPWR Assist, when taken before meals, decreased the glycemic impact of carbohydrate-heavy meals and lowered blood sugar spikes. If MetaPWR Assist sounds like an incredible tool to help you manage your metabolic health naturally, you're absolutely right.
And here we go with the next video. MetaPWR Assist clinical trial results with Alex DeBell and Dr. Nicole Stevens.
Hello, are you ready to hear exciting results from the first doTERRA MetaPWR Assist clinical trial?
I am.
Before we jump in, Alex, will you share some information on what the ingredients in this product do?
Sure. Let's start with mulberry. It's the most prominent ingredient in MetaPWR Assist, and one of the most important because it helps all carbohydrates, fast and slow, act like slow carbohydrates. Now, what I mean by that is that while all carbohydrates are made up of sugar chains, some are metabolized differently than others. Simple carbohydrates are processed right away, spiking your blood sugar. Ultra-processed foods, desserts, etc., are generally full of these simple carbs. Of course, we all know that complex carbohydrates are better for us than simple carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are aptly named as their sugar chains are longer and more complicated to digest, making them slower and less likely to spike your blood glucose. Some examples of complex carbohydrates include whole grains, vegetables, and fruit. These foods are full of fiber and essential nutrients, adding another layer of why they're so much better for your body than junk food, which usually isn't very nutrient rich. Now, back to MetaPWR Assist. When you take MetaPWR Assist with a meal, the mulberry ingredient you heard mentioned in the overview helps your body to slow the digestion of the carbohydrates you just ate. Now, of course, MetaPWR Assist is supposed to be paired with a healthy, balanced diet. We want you to eat nutrient-rich, fiber-filled complex carbohydrates. MetaPWR Assist gives your body a little extra help keeping those blood glucose levels steady. The amino sugars of the mulberry leaves interact with the digestive enzymes that metabolize carbohydrates, slowing their digestion so the glucose doesn't hit your bloodstream as quickly.
Some of you may wonder about the connection between blood sugar spikes, aging, and health span. It's been said that every time your blood sugar spikes, you age. I love the metaphor of thinking of our bodies like a car. If you're putting your foot on the floor, on the accelerator, and then slamming on your brakes, it's going to wear down your car. It isn't good for your brakes, for your tires, for your seatbelt, any of it. Spikes and crashes in your blood sugar are hard on your body and contribute to poor functioning of your cells. The more we can normalize our blood glucose and insulin curves, the better. And of course, this helps enormously with energy levels too.
Well, let's dive into the clinical trial, shall we?
Let's do it.
We did a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial that was 2 weeks long. It included 15 participants with a standardized meal at breakfast and continuous glucose monitoring throughout the day. And we should also mention that we did this with non-diabetic population, which means that none of the participants had diabetes.
Yes, we had a standardized breakfast meal, which means everyone ate the same thing first thing in the morning. For the first week of the trial, they were on placebo, and the second week of the trial, they were using real MetaPWR Assist. They had continuous glucose monitoring, where we could measure their blood glucose levels every 15 minutes, all through the day and night, giving us fantastic data. We could super easily track what happened every 15 minutes after eating, 30 minutes after eating, 2 hours after eating, and so on. Instead of snapshots like you get with traditional fingerstick glucose monitoring, it's like you're watching a movie because the continuous glucose monitoring is giving us so much information. There are also healthy ranges that you're supposed to wake up in as well. We were watching all of this. Now, let's look at a snapshot from this study. On the screen, you'll see these curves, which are basically a visual representation of a day in the life of one of our participants' blood glucose levels. You can see the first Saturday of the trial, when they were still using the placebo, the curve led to a number of 102. That's their average continuous blood glucose measurement. But then the next Saturday, which is when they were now using the real MetaPWR Assist and not the placebo, the average number was 89. So there was a 13% drop just in that week. You can also see how the peaks and valleys are smoother and gentler, which is exactly what we want to achieve with this product.
So what you're seeing here is that we achieved statistical significance.
Yes, we didn't expect to achieve statistical significance, to be honest, because this first pilot study was such a small number of people. But it did, which is exciting. It just shows how powerful this product is. And we are thrilled to break down more of the research as it comes in.
This is a very exciting product. It has the potential really to be life-changing for so many.
We can't wait to discover and share more about the power and future of MetaPWR Assist.
Awesome. And now we'll go into our last video with Dr. O. Let me just put that all the way to the beginning.
In a study recently published in the Journal of Cardiology that looked at a cross-sectional survey of adults in North America, it was determined only 6.8% of them had optimal cardiometabolic health. 6.8%, a stunning number. That means over 93% of the North American population has less than optimal cardiometabolic health. We've known for decades now that much of the North American lifestyle has been going off the rails, but these results paint a stark picture of how much work we really need to do if we want to have better health spans and quality of life as we age. And if you're someone who's in that 6.8%, you certainly want and need to stay there. You've learned some details about why metabolic health is important already. But it really is truly one of the biggest health challenges facing the US, and the consequences are deadly serious. The challenges facing a huge percentage of our population are tied to metabolic health. And the more we learn about it, the more we see that even for people who may not have progressed to serious challenges, their lack of metabolic health is still causing issues in their quality of life. Look at this chart, which represents some of the factors that affect metabolic health, as well as some of the factors affected by metabolic health. As you can see, exercise, diet, supplementation, relationships, rest, and stress management are all determinants that affect metabolic health. These determinants may not come as a surprise. You've probably heard them before. Of course, genetics affect our metabolic health, but exercise, diet, rest, relationships, these are all lifestyle factors you can influence for the better. Let's look at some of the things your metabolic health affects, or rather, factors that may reflect the state of your metabolic health. Blood sugar, blood pressure, lipid types and levels, and weight. When you effectively focus in the areas we talked about, exercise, mindful eating, strong relationships, stress management, and rest, they positively affect the outputs, like blood pressure, blood sugar, and weight. I know it isn't as easy to do as it is for me to say. And sometimes complicating factors make it even more difficult. When you don't see immediate results, or the results aren't as pronounced as you'd hoped, it can be discouraging. All or nothing thinking when trying to make significant lifestyle improvements is the enemy. Incremental improvements can have huge benefits. For example, one does not have to become a master athlete to reap the benefit of health span improvement. Moderate intensity exercise for only 30 minutes a day provides 70% of the benefits we are looking for. This is why I believe MetaPWR can and will be such a powerful product system for so many people. It helps your health choices count a little extra. There are no silver bullets. You still have to make smart, healthy lifestyle decisions. But MetaPWR is like maximizing and optimizing the effects of all those decisions, making their impact go further than they would otherwise.
Alrighty, so what did you think about those videos? Weren't they great? Little reminders. You may have seen those videos before. This is my third time seeing it, and I'm still learning something, right? I love what he said, Dr. O, at the end. It's not an all or nothing type of thing, right? Even walking 30 minutes a day can take care of 70% of the things that they were talking about. So simple lifestyle changes can help our metabolic health a lot. So any questions or comments about those videos before we move into some of the testimonies? Somebody want to share one takeaway? Marsha, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Why they didn't test diabetics? Or can
Good
we,
question.
can diabetics take this?
Good question. Joan, I see you like wanting to answer this.
So they wanted to have a study that showed true numbers. If they had done this study on diabetics, the numbers would have been much greater. So we can't have that. We have to have like a pure study that is going to give us normal statistical numbers. So used on a diabetic, these numbers would be even more powerful. We would have seen the numbers become more stable. And so, yes, absolutely, it can be used on diabetics and should be primarily, but the studies can't be done on diabetics. We need to see them done on those that have normal, stable glucose levels.
Yes, and keep an eye out on social media. There are many more studies being done. So you never know if they're going to conduct a study on diabetics with this product, right? Because when you go to the doctor, two main things that they want to talk about are your blood pressure and if you're borderline diabetic or diabetic, so that they can prescribe some medication to help you manage those things, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if clinical trials are being conducted with diabetics on this product. I believe that this is going to help a lot of people. Demetrius, you have your hand up?
Yes, I enjoyed how simple they made it. They didn't overwhelm with all these terms that are unrecognizable to us and very, very easy to explain to someone else.
Yes, the simplicity factor is key to helping everybody understand why they need to try it, right? Thank you so much for that. Marva?
Would this be a program recommended for a 10-year-old type 1 diabetic patient? Or do you know?
10-year-old diabetic,
Type 1.
Type 1. I am not sure. Joan, you have an answer or a thought on that?
I do. So we don't go by age, we go by weight.
Okay.
So this protocol that we're talking about is for people 100 pounds. So think about that and see, you know, if you might want to half dose things or cut things back depending on the weight.
Oh, okay.
Awesome,
it's not based on
thanks.
age.
Okay, Lynn, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to say a caution for someone who is diabetic and is on diabetic medication. When you do start taking the product, just make sure that you're test your blood sugar levels, because you may be able to cut back on your meds or even get to the point where you can stop them. So I would talk to your doctor and work with your doctor on that, but really test your blood sugar levels and make sure they're not going too low.
Yes, thank you so much for putting out that thought. I appreciate that. Always work with your doctor and monitor all of your numbers. We were encouraged before we actually started the MetaPWR system way back in September to go to the doctor and have a blood panel ran and get all of our numbers straight so that we knew what we were doing and what we were looking for once we started taking the product. And so if you haven't done that, highly recommend that you do that before you start. That would be a good place to start. Julie, you have your hand up?
Just a tidbit. I had asked about, was it based on age on starting the program? Her example was a type 1 diabetic, but one of the persons there at the staging of MetaPWR at convention mentioned, like, for young children, focus on the healthy habits, the lifestyle changes, the sedentary lifestyle, just sitting down playing video games, like work on those habits as well, and not just here's a pill that will help you. So keep that in mind, because what is it, the advantage, you don't stop or needing that till like 25 years old, right? So but again, they focus on the healthy lifestyle.
Oh, I love that you brought that up. Thank you for reminding us about that too, right? Because we have control over that. We can exercise more, we can move more, we could change what we eat when we eat. So lifestyle changes are a huge factor when it comes to controlling our metabolic health. So it's not just like take a pill and everything's going to be okay and it's going to change. It's like you have to do other things as well, like Dr. O was saying in the video. Super cool. Thank you so much for that reminder. Okay, let's move on to Jenny Garcia, who is going to share a personal experience with us. Take it away, Jenny.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I like food. So many of you have a love of food, and so I did too. But when MetaPWR came out, I was really scared to go and get my blood work done. So not only do I have a phobia of blood and needles, but I was afraid of finding out where I was in terms of my numbers, because I had already known prior to getting ready for MetaPWR, I probably wasn't on the best lifestyle. I was still working on it, right? So I went and I got my blood work done. I pushed myself and I did it. Got over that phobia and did it. And much to my surprise, I was actually within that 6.8%. So meaning I had the optimal metabolic health, the blood pressure, the cholesterol, the blood sugar, A1C, those were good. Weight was reasonable. So then that left me thinking, well, should I try MetaPWR? But for me personally, I can't go and tell somebody to take something if I've never tried it. So I'm like, well, let me just give it a go and see what happened. So 90 days in, I'm 90 days in on MetaPWR, and so far I've seen my weight drop in 3 pounds, but the more notable thing for me was I lost 4 inches around my midsection. And so those 4 inches weren't necessarily pounds, there was inflammation. So I saw a dramatic shift with my inflammation. My face wasn't as swollen. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 2018. So as we've learned, inflammation, or that chronic inflammation, is such a big thing to work on when we deal with things that have to do with our health, right? Because we know if we have that uncontrolled inflammation, that leads to so much more dis-ease in the body. So I was so happy to see that it affected me in that way. And so some other things that it affected me was my view of sugar, my cravings of sugar, and my taste for sugar. Now I am satisfied with maybe 1 or 2 bites of something sweet. I don't have to have the whole thing or more. I'm good with that. My energy levels are up. And I even experimented with that to see if it was a mental thing, right? Placebo effect, maybe hearing all these other people say, oh, I'm more energy. So I played around with it. I didn't take it for a day. I felt a difference, went back on it, and then still was kind of like, I'm not completely convinced. I played around with it and I took it. For me, I'm really sensitive to things. So I took it later in the day and I regretted it because I stayed up all night. But that's for me personally, because I'm super sensitive to things. So again, I really saw that that energy was really real. Another thing that I noticed too, in workout recovery, I'm recovering a lot faster in terms of that soreness and things like that in being more active and mobile. And then another thing that was kind of really cool that I just noticed is I have a smart scale, and it tells you what your metabolic age is. And so I was pretty impressed that it was spot on when I first did it, that it actually had my age of, at that time, 37. But now it's recording 36. So I'm actually really surprised that even though I already look super young for me, right? I mean, I'm sure y'all would agree, I don't look 37, almost 38, but now it's saying I'm 36. So what MetaPWR is amazing. So I'm really convinced that it worked for me, and I'm convinced if you haven't started and tried it yet, it's going to work for you on your own way. Whatever things that you are looking to work on, it can definitely help. So I can't wait to hear about y'all's results once you get started.
Yay! Thank you so much, Jenny Garcia. Show her some love with the clappy hands or a heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you for going into such fine details about the results that you were getting, right? Sometimes when we're asked about the results, we really got to think about it, because if you don't, then you don't realize it, right? You said things on this class that I didn't hear on the 130 class. So thank you so much for sharing. That was great. Absolutely love it. Notice how she talked about inflammation. So who doesn't have a problem with inflammation, right? Just like her, I haven't lost a lot of weight. I wish I could say that I've lost like 10, 20 pounds. I do feel that my clothes fit differently. I had to buy a new belt because I lost all of the holes in it, right? I had to buy a new pair of jeans because I'm a size down. I think it's inflammation. I haven't weighed myself, but I do feel better. I do feel different. And like her, I highly recommend the product. So, Kimberly, would you like to share your experience as far as when you stopped taking the product and how that affected you before I go to the share screen and share Janet?
Definitely. So, I was doing really well. I had, regular exercise, and in a few weeks, I had definitely felt that my clothes was a lot looser in every aspect. And so I took MetaPWR consistently for a month. And then I got sick and I just tossed all of my good habits out the window. So I stopped taking my LLV, I stopped taking MetaPWR, and I was sluggish. Like you could tell even in my skin. I'm younger than 25, but I definitely felt that the collagen was helping the skin in my face. I had a lot of sensitivities to food had slowly gone away because I was able to digest my food a lot better. And as soon as I stopped, all of these issues came back. So my skin felt dry. It wasn't as hydrated as it was before. I definitely felt sluggish, tired. I was in a bad mood. So our metabolism is more than just weight and what's going on. It's so many functions of the human body. And I definitely felt a huge difference having stopped 2 months ago. So my goal now is to get back into taking my MetaPWR the way that I was taking it consistently a few months ago. And I started. I did not skip a step. I have to take my MetaPWR for the afternoon, my oil and my water. But for the most part, I've been doing a pretty good job sticking to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That makes a big difference, right? When you stop. Well, a lot of people, when you get sick, you just stop everything. You stop taking everything, right? And so then you allow your body to heal a little bit, then you get back on the program and you feel a difference. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Last but not least, I am going to share a video from a girlfriend of mine, Janet Labar. Notice what she says, a very short video on doTERRA Essential Oils YouTube.
I really love the MetaPWR beadlets and the gum because they really help support my sugar cravings that way. And I was able to cut off my love with sugar. Now sugar is not in control of me. I'm in control of sugar. I'm just so grateful with what MetaPWR has done to help support my sugar cravings.
A lot of times we don't understand how important sugar cravings are, right? When you crave sugar, you just eat over and over and over again. So check out her pictures on her Facebook page. Let me see. Hold on just a second. This is her 15 weeks ago, before and after, where she says then and now, right? Look at the difference. She was brave enough to post her pictures. Her story is documented on her Facebook account. If you would care to follow her or read about it, take her name down so you can see. She went down 3 to 4 dress sizes. That was then. This is now. Isn't that amazing? She looks so happy. And she's doing so much better health-wise on MetaPWR. So if you haven't already started MetaPWR, go ahead and put it on your LRP because you will love it. Like all the rest of us who are on MetaPWR are loving it. This one product alone is $29.50. Do you know that they sell products like this at Target, Walmart, for even more? But ours is better and it's much more affordable. And even if people don't want to start the Advantage, which we're going to talk about next week, starting with Assist and just the oil is a great way to start taking care of your metabolic health. So, okay, before we wrap it up with announcements and the raffle, any other questions or comments that you would like to bring up? No, we're good, everybody? I see everybody is good. Thumbs up from Marva and Kimberly. Thank you. Let's move on then to doing the raffle. And before you giving that, can you drop the link to my YouTube channel? Perfect. Thank you. So our 5:30 classes are now going to be stored on my new YouTube channel, which Kimberly dropped the link there. If you want to review it or share it, just copy and paste that link and you will have access to it. Okay? So that's a simple way for all of us to review our Friday classes. And like I said, it's going to be the 5:30 class that is posted. Now, you might know, or you may have heard about the MetaPWR Challenge that doTERRA is conducting during the month of January. It started on the 1st, right? It's for 30 days. It's called a MetaPWR Challenge. If you're in it, that's great. Have fun. There's so many things to learn and talk about, but I just want everybody here to know that our upline, Beth Phillips, is going to be running her own 30-day MetaPWR Challenge on February 19th. So next week, I will have the link for all of us to join if you would like. It's a really fun way of keeping in contact with people who are on the product, seeing other people's results, and getting inspired to stay the course of making these lifestyle changes and adding our oils and supplements. Okay. And then last but not least, next week, we're going to be talking about MetaPWR Advantage and oil hacks. And then we're going to be wrapping up the month with bingo. So I want to encourage everybody to start making their bingo cards. We've done that once before. It's going to be super fun. I'm giving away a lot of products. Start making your bingo cards. If you don't know how, do some research online. It's super easy. Okay. So Kimberly, who is winning our raffle? I am sharing MetaPWR beadlets.
Alrighty, our winner is Michelle Lopez.
Yay, Michelle, congratulations. Who invited you? Barbara. Okay, I'll contact Barbara for your address. I think I have it. It sounds familiar, but I'll make sure. That's why I asked who invited you. Okay, so awesome. Congratulations. I'll send those out before the end of the weekend. So thank you, everybody, for joining me again. For those of you who are doing the business, I want to remind you that we're having a business and team call on Monday at 10:30 a.m. I have posted it on my Instagram once. I will post it again. If you are interested in the business or making money with doTERRA to even pay for your own addiction, then go ahead and join us on Monday so you can learn the basics as well as all of the resources that are involved in helping you. Okay, so have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.